All right. Thank you for coming on to the podcast today. I know this is so weird because we've never done this before in a serious way. And I just want to acknowledge that you are my best friend. So first of all, I would like you to tell everyone what we're drinking today because my guests are allowed to choose the drink.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I brought in my famous McGuigan's.
McGuigan's. Oh, that's a lovely drop.
Well, I'm Irish, so of course I have to bring in my Irish drop. $8 from Dan Murphy's.
Bargain.
Absolute bargain. And you know I love a bargain. So
Yes. Every time I do get to see you, there's always something in the fridge.
yes.
One of these in the fridge specifically.
Yes. Yep. I love my red wine.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Across the table. Let's have a little sip. Let's try it out.
Honestly,
It's great.
it's beautiful.
Especially when you put it in the fridge and it's chilled.
Yes. Not many people like red wine chilled, but I love my red wine chilled, especially with ice.
Well, thank you for that drop as we drink 2 Invisible Barriers, first
Invisible
episode
Barriers.
ever.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what you would like to speak about today?
So I was thinking about when you first came to me and said that you were going to start a podcast to discuss like whether it's disability, mental health, it can really be anything, I guess. And what the biggest thing in my life that I've experienced is mental health and more specifically depression, suicidal ideation. So I guess there's a bit of a trigger warning there.
It's important.
Yes. That was a long time ago, but I would like to talk about like, how it's seeped into a lot of different aspects of my life and how I kind of always lingers in some way, in some shape.
Yeah. And I just, before we do get into it, I think from what you've experienced, it has made you so understanding of how to support people who do experience that throughout their lives because now you're working as a social worker, which I think is an amazing thing because when we were younger, I don't feel like we really knew anything about mental health. And so it's really amazing that you are in a space that does advocate a lot for it now.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about when you first maybe remember experiencing something like mental health and what that kind of means for you?
Yeah. I was probably, I don't know, 12, 13, probably around the time that I met you.
It's not a good correlation.
Though
Started feeling really shite.
Then everything really went downhill.
But it's a lot of things going on at 13.
Absolutely. Your hormones changing, you're going into high school, you're getting new friendship groups, and then not even that, you've got your own things going on at home. And like as a teenager of that age, you don't really talk about it. Like everything's kind of surface level, and I think we were very fortunate to have a close girlfriend group in high school, primary school, high school. But still then, there wasn't much awareness on mental health. So it wasn't like I was going around sharing it and broadcasting what was going on.
Yeah. What did you notice was a change at 13? Like what was your early experience?
I really don't know. Like my mum, she's obviously, as you know, she's my rock. And she kind of says it as I woke up, I went to bed as Laura, and then I woke up and I was a demon. And it's the worst way to depict it, but to describe it. But it was almost like I changed overnight, but that's not the case. That's what the outside world had seen.
Yes.
Whereas in reality, there was home stress. My family was separating. My parents were separating. My dad had alcohol-induced dementia. I have older parents, so my dad was in his 60s when he became an alcoholic, or his alcoholism took over, and then he became a different person, as alcohol does change us. And then seeing that in your home life and the stress, it just impacted me psychologically.
So around 13 years old, you remember there being a shift, maybe not overnight, all of this experience with your dad and kind of observing his change from a younger age. Why do you think, why did it affect you at 13 years old? do you think?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I have definitely gone through a lot of different therapy, and then even with my degree, I've tried to really understand like why is it? And I do think it was maybe I saw lots of different families and my friends and how their lives were, and it was very different to what my home life was. And then I realized like this isn't normal, this isn't safe. That was probably the biggest thing. I didn't feel safe. I felt safe with my mum, but I didn't feel safe in my home. And then I just, once my dad left the home, it was like I could just then be myself and just let out all of this built up emotion, and I just exploded, and it was an explosion for like
Visual. So as your mom describes it, as a monster or demon.
Demon, yeah.
So do you remember that
years.
kind of shift? So what provoked it was the fact that your dad left and you could actually express yourself, whereas before it was not as easy to do that because you didn't feel safe to.
Yeah. And the way that I look at it now is it's very difficult to remember that time of my life because, as we know, like when you suffer trauma, your brain will block out certain trauma to protect yourself. And at that age as well, because you have so much going on, your brain literally cannot cope. And because there was other things as well that was going on, you know, when I didn't have any control or any power, the best way to describe it is my brain just shut off so much of that time of my life, and I cannot remember it for the life of me, even to this day.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Mainly, I think it's a good thing. And yeah, just
so when at this time and you were going through so many changes, and when you were, like you said, for about 5 years, you were able to express yourself at home. Do you feel like you could share that with other people, or?
I remember sharing it with you. Do you remember that?
I don't, because at that time we were very wrapped up in boys.
Other things that should not be named.
Just being a teenager, exploring who we are. And so my memories were very tied up in our friendship, and I think the fun that we were having at the time seemed very
I think I did a great job at hiding it and just having fun.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun.
Was your friendships a safe space for you to not think about it?
Yeah. I don't ever remember being sad or feeling like I needed to share it with you girls. I just felt happy and like it was an escape. But then again, I fell into a bad cycle. And then because there's that trauma and I'm already dealing with home things and not very good things internally, then becoming addicted, or I guess, addicted to different substances and different things. And it definitely wasn't a good choice.
And the hard thing at the time is that almost everyone is making bad choices.
Yes.
And you're rubbing shoulders with people with terrible coping skills. Do you feel like you were hiding it, or you just didn't feel like you need to say anything?
No, I was definitely hiding it. There's a lot of shame, I think, in depression, and especially when you're having suicidal thoughts. There is a lot of shame in it. And that's when I think, because I kept squishing it, suppressing it, then that's when the suicidal thoughts and the self-harm amplified. And then that's when it really took a turn.
And people not knowing that about you would have been hard, because people don't know how to help, or that you needed help.
No.
Did you want to speak about when you did get some help?
Yeah.
Or what drove you to getting help?
So I had an attempt, and I ended up in hospital, and I was in the Gold Coast psychiatric ward for, I don't even know, was it month, 2 months.
I don't remember exactly either.
Yeah, I had been seeing a guidance counselor for a long time through school, and they were great. So when I felt like anxiety or just like I could not function at school, then I would go into her office and we would use certain tools and things like that to try and get me out of it. And most of the time I couldn't. I'm very stubborn, as you know. And once I've kind of made my mind on something, that's that. Like
What was your mind on at the time? Like,
I don't want to be here. That was it. Like, what's the point? I'm suffering and no one understands, and I can't cope with this. Why do you then want me to focus on schoolwork? That seems so minor. And here's a school teacher, a guidance officer trying to coax me back into class. And I'm thinking, and you want me to sit there and try and process? Nothing's coming in.
Yeah.
And then I would punish myself because I couldn't understand what I was learning. So then it became a struggle through school of actually being able to graduate. Then that more pressure got built on then. Where it's that all I wanted at the time was someone to say, like, it's okay. You do not need to put all of this focus on schoolwork.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on your mental health.
Yeah.
Let's get that back.
So at the time, you were only speaking about your struggles with the guidance officer.
Yeah.
Did you initiate seeing them, or did someone direct you there?
Couldn't tell you. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I've blocked out a large portion. I would imagine my mum, who is a huge advocate for me and always has been, I imagine that she would have been banging down that door saying, someone help my daughter, because this is not who she is.
Yeah.
So let's figure this out. Or they could have noticed a shift.
Yeah. So you don't remember it being your choice in any of it, but it didn't feel at the time that helpful because it was, let's deal with it now and then put you back into the class.
Yeah. I definitely felt like it was a great escape, but I can also see how some people would then just focus on that escape, and some children might then we just focus on, well, we're out of class and then that's that. Like, we don't have to, we need to have some support. There needs to be more support when you are out of class. And then what are we doing? And I remember being left alone a lot in that room, and it was just like bean bags and soft squishy things, and sometimes I got to bring a friend with me, and it was very like blasé, which is probably not the best thing. Like,
so their strategy was for you to access a space where you could potentially self-regulate for long enough, but there wasn't any
end goal. So we'd all just go and hang out in there. It was so bizarre, but
yeah. And I don't remember. I didn't really understand it all because as a friend on the outside, I don't think I ever really took it seriously, only because I knew the side of you that was probably escaping and seemed fine on the outside. And so at the time when you had friends, I guess, that were helping you escape, but maybe not in the healthiest ways, what kind of led to your time in the hospital?
So when I entered the hospital, I was in grade 12, I think. That was a whole different experience. That was a positive, but also obviously not a very good experience. But it was also positive because I was getting the help that I needed, and like, they were amazing. It was definitely the hardest point of my entire life at that point. And then I guess the new barriers when I got out was that stigma of she's been in a psychiatric ward. So that is really hard, and you're a 17-year-old child. I do remember one of the times when I was in the ward, they let us out and we went for a walk, and we walked around Robina, near Robina Town Centre, shopping centre. And I remember walking along there and looking around and thinking, oh my God, like, what? Like, I am like it's like out of the movies. Like I
Yeah.
am a Fruit Loop. I wasn't, and neither were the people that were in there. But
Yeah.
it was just very like the way that movies depict people with mental health and psychiatric wards, very, 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 very different to what it in reality. And yeah, they were incredible. I had school there. You're not allowed to have phones. You weren't allowed to access computers unless it was supervised. No sharp object, obviously, things like that. We had constant psychologists every single day. We had like meetings, I guess, say like with all the children on the ward, and I met one of my best friends on that ward as well. We remember thinking like, we're not crazy. Like, we are not crazy. We're just
people weren't
misunderstood.
telling you crazy. Did you feel like people thought you were crazy?
Yeah.
Why did you think that?
It's more so just the way that we talk to each other as a society, and that's very like clear to me in my head. I remember just thinking like, I can't tell someone that I'm not okay when I've just tried to kill myself. Yeah, it's.
I mean, I contributed to that because I probably didn't even try and talk about it because I don't. That's the stigma in itself, is that we don't know, we don't have the words maybe.
Yeah,
and I think
we're children.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're children.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to know that at that age. Like,
yeah, I think they're trying to in schools, is trying to, but policy and practice is very different. And I'm glad that experience, being amongst people who probably felt some things you shared, like you had something in common with the people that you met in that ward.
Yeah.
And how did that feel?
It felt, that felt great. Like having people share. So I was diagnosed with bipolar. I got then I got placed on psychiatric medication, and I was on that for 4 years. They thought it was that at that time because when I would be really happy, like when I was with my friends, I would, we'd drink goon bags and do all this other.
We don't do that anymore.
Stuff.
We drink nice red wine now. Not for the
$8 wine. We would do, erratic things, and then I'd be with my friends, and like there's one story that Mum told one of my psychologists at the time, is that she bought me some crabs. I really wanted pet crabs.
I remember this. There was a few phases that you went through.
There was a few phases.
Let's start with the crabs.
Yes, we'll start with crabs. And I really wanted some pet crabs, so she bought me some pet crabs. Yes, she's a school teacher, gave me a beautiful enclosure that she had from the school, put the crabs in it. Then I'm out one day with one of my friends, we're in the car, and this man pulls up in the car next to me at the traffic light, and I've got my window down. I started talking to him, and he's like, oh, I'm going to my child's birthday. I don't have a gift for her. So then I gave him the whole enclosure with my crabs. And Mum was livid. She was so mad at me.
Nice. So you just passed the crabs. Must have been the weirdest thing to witness.
Yes, and Mum was like, this is erratic behaviour. Really, it's just me.
Random as hell.
Just, like, that's it. Like, right. I just felt, I'm an empath, so I just felt for this man, even though it's his own stupid fault. Why didn't you get a child?
Best present ever. I don't know what you.
It's already set up.
Yeah, in a beautiful enclosure. So you got why did you have the crabs in the car?
I wanted to take them with me. Maybe that's a little bit erratic.
So at this point, you're about 18 years old.
Yeah.
And you finished school.
Yeah.
You left school before graduating.
I'd already left school, yeah. So once I got released from the ward, I said to Mum, like, I just want to go to my school formal and then I want to leave. I was in prevo of everything anyway, so I didn't have to do it, but I was still very lucky. And Mum said yes, which was amazing. So I went to school formal. And then I remember I sat down with you all. Were you there?
At the time, I think we were in different friendship groups because there was a few changes in what we were interested in at the time.
Yeah. So I sat down in the girls that I was still mainly friends with while you exited stage left.
I didn't exit stage left. I was
Emily chose other people.
Widen my circle.
I sat down with them and I said, basically, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Did you? So at the time you felt like
I had to cut everybody off. I
that's
felt
what
like,
you thought.
yeah, I was like, in order to heal, I don't want anybody to know about my past and be in my current present moment. Like, in order for me to move on, I want to tell my own story, and I want to create my own narrative and not have people from school that knew me from them to then try and, you know, say whatever. That's truly what I believed. So, yeah, I said to these girls at the beach, like, you know, and tell the other girls that this is tell Emily's here. And then that was that. And then I went on and made different friendship groups. I was still on my medication and made some more poor choices.
Did you feel like that was a poor choice at the time, leaving school and cutting yourself off? Because you never really spoke about all of this with them, like deeper, but you hid it from everyone from so long that by deciding to cut them
I made
out
the
of it
decision for them. Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, that felt like a better choice than speaking about it.
Yeah.
And being able to explain it.
Yeah.
You just felt like resetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an avoidant person in general, and I would rather put my head in the sand and then just move on. And back then, more so, I could definitely, I feel, just cut people off, and to other people, to other people, maybe it seemed like I don't care, but deep down, I'm still very emotional, and it hurts so, like, it hurts so much. But I really felt like that was the best decision for other people because you guys didn't then have to deal with me. And that's what the whole thing of not being here anymore is that I don't want to put you guys in any more pain and having to deal with me, and I'm just bringing everybody down. When in reality, that's not the case. People that love you will be there for you and love you for you. But I didn't understand that. So the best thing for me was just to say goodbye and hope that I can pull myself together and kind of create a new Laura, I guess. And thankfully it did work out that way in the long run, but like, it doesn't always, I don't think. I don't think that's the best advice.
So you cut everyone off from high school and you decided to recreate yourself.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Had a hell of a time. Like, I definitely...
Fun?
Yeah, fun time.
Yes.
I, like, moved out of home. I still made poor choices, as Emily knows. Like, you came to visit me one time at my apartment, and it's definitely...
Yeah, I'm so glad we reconnected. My biggest shock, I guess, at that time, you'd shaved your head.
I'm not painting a very good picture of myself.
No, you don't have to paint a picture. I'll paint it for them. So, you were bald like Britney. No, you weren't really. You had a beautiful haircut.
Pixie haircut.
You had a pixie cut and it was amazing, but you also, your body had changed so much that you were incredibly skinny. Yeah.
So then
that was my biggest shock.
Yes, we're very tall women and like very skinny in general. And I had gone down to 52 kilos, which is really, really, really skinny.
And what would you say is your healthy weight normally?
65, 70. No, sorry. I'd be 75. That would be my healthy weight.
Yeah.
That's what I am now.
Yeah.
I'm still healthy.
Yeah. So going from high school and meeting new friends and having new experiences and then finding yourself in that state, how was that for you?
No, I then suffered, I think, with a lot of body image problems. I still looked at myself as big, which is so bizarre because I was literally skin and bones and I had no rolls, and not that that's anything, but I had nothing, and I still would see that. And I smoked weed every single day, multiple bongs a day, did LSD all the time. And then I think I was socializing with not a very healthy group of people, and then I didn't share my own struggles then. And, you know, I continued to hide everything.
So you moved from the group at high school and then you went to another group who didn't know anything about you, and
I still didn't share, yeah. And there would be times when maybe we would be a bit messed up and I would like say some things, but people, I kind of stopped telling anyone anything because I found when you would say I've suffered depression, a lot of people then go, oh, me too, and then it would kind of become me being a therapist for them, which is then I guess how I got into my degree now. But
does that feel more comfortable to you?
Yeah,
deflecting and talking about them.
Yeah. But still, you kind of walk away and go, I would have really liked to like have that moment to feel heard. But it was not just one time. It was like 100 different times, and it was just constant, which is fine. Everyone felt comfortable and felt like they needed to share. And then now I look at that as like a compliment, and that they felt safe to share their experiences. But it definitely then squished my own need to speak further and further and further down, when in the end I think I stopped speaking about this sort of stuff. And I think the only person in the end that I did speak to is you, really, when we reconnected.
Yeah, maybe because you couldn't hide it.
Yeah,
and
you're very persuasive.
Well, it was scary to me because your new friends were lovely, and the only thing I was worried about was that I could see the way that you were coping was by engaging in unsafe behavior, I guess. And then also seeing how you were physically, it was clear from someone who knows you so well, and knowing your average body weight as a teenager, it was scary. And I know that people took advantage of you at the time. And you sharing that with me was great, because it then opened up our ability to talk, and you moved to Cairns, but we stayed in contact, and our phone calls have been a lifeline for myself and for you, and that has continued from 21 years old when we actually started talking properly. I think that is maybe just, I don't know if that's the age when you grow up, or the age that we learned how to communicate and how important that is, because that's how I feel about it. And I wish I knew how to do that earlier, but we didn't.
No.
Yeah. And I guess the hard part is that some people don't have that person to pull them out of it, I guess.
Yeah, I was not well. And I just remember feeling like I'm a different person, but not in a good way of like, I'm a different person, I don't want you in my life. It was more so like, I'm a different person and this is not okay. Like, I want you in my life, and I don't like who I've become. That doesn't necessarily mean that the habits changed overnight, but it meant more so that I put effort in and knew like, I want to be here and you see something good in me, and there's someone here that sees something good in me, and I want to find that person again. And it took a few years. Like, I had to leave Gold Coast. I found that there was too many bad memories. I really pulled the Gold Coast and the bad memories and made them one thing. And I just found it made me really uneasy every time I went there for a long time. Now I love it. And I had to move away and grow, and then there was more challenges there of domestic violence and another unhealthy relationship, and it feels like two different lives almost. Like, I feel like I'm talking about someone else's life. It doesn't even feel like mine. And that just shows, I guess, how much I've grown and how like I have no regrets whatsoever. We were talking about that today. I feel very proud of every moment that I've been in.
Anna, you should be proud because you're amazing. I just wanted to talk about your transition to a different setting. And I guess, again, you're moving to a space where no one knows your past. But you had a purpose in Cairns. Which was?
I was a flight attendant
the
for the black and orange.
exits. I will never live you down for that. But yes.
I know, for Jetstar.
So for 3 or 4 years, you kind of avoided situations that would involve rejection. Like
Yeah.
you didn't want to try. You were
No.
just kind of with a bunch of people and going along with the ride.
Yeah.
And then when you did find something that made you excited, maybe that high came back. But were you still on medication at this time?
No, I had gone off my medication. So I had been with, I don't even know how many psychologists I've seen, a lot. And I had my own care team to take care of me. And they were very clear that I do not go off my medication by myself. And as we know, like, you should not do that. And I went off it by myself, cold turkey.
Why? Why did you decide to do that?
Because I thought, I'm not bipolar. Like, I think I have a lot of trauma, a lot of deep trauma that is very misunderstood, and no one's really tried to understand it. And it's very easy to slap a label on us and just say, well, we've done that.
Yeah.
We've given her meds. She's good to go. I'm also a teenager. Hormones are changing. There's a lot of things to take into account. And I felt I got to that age where it was like, well, I've been fairly good. I don't think I have bipolar after doing my own research. And I just thought, well, let's try it. Let's go. So
Not recommended.
not recommended, read the fine print. But for me, it worked out. And I was very, very lucky. But if you have bipolar, like, that's not always the way. Like, for someone that had failed school, dropped out of school, I say failed because I did not have very good reports or didn't apply myself to school whatsoever. And then to not really, like, put myself in, like, try with anything too much after school, to then get into Jetstar, which might not seem like much, but it's 4 weeks of no pay. It's classes every single day, and it is like memorizing planes and equipment and word for word, like, drills, and it is intense. It's like, it's out of this world. Like, even to this day, I'm like, I reckon that was harder than my university because it's 4 weeks. Like, it
doesn't seem like a great
much.
way to go into your long-term memory.
No,
because they're kind of cramming probably important safety things into 4 weeks.
Yes, it was a lot, but it was the best thing I'd ever done because it changed my whole life. Honestly, that was the best time of my life, and I made some amazing friends out of it. I changed completely as a person. I stood up for myself. I had quit the drugs completely. It felt healthy.
Yeah.
I felt like I'm finally gonna be something, and that doesn't have anything to do with boys or drugs or
anything
my
external.
mental health. Yeah, it's just me really pushing myself to the limit.
Yeah.
Had highs and lows like every job does, but I feel like that was the turning point in my life, in my mental health, is moving to Cairns. It left that relationship in the end. It became violent and not safe. And I then hid that. That was then another thing that I then hid and shame and didn't tell anyone about. I feel like as soon as I changed that mentality, I had so many wonderful people come into my life and opportunities, like even like a neighbor helping with providing things for my new house, and finding a perfect home where there was a healthy woman that owned this beautiful unit, and she didn't drink or do drugs, and like, it was just, I feel like everything just aligned, and I was like, I feel like I deserve this. Like, I'm a good person, and I've had a lot of bad experiences happen, and some of it I've done to myself, but at the end of the day, I'm still here and I'm still trying.
So your mentality changed. Did your behavior change? Do you feel like you did speak to people more about, like, when you had a breakup in Cairns and you were on your own, did you ask for help?
Yes. Yeah. I definitely asked for help. I asked for my mum to come up to Cairns, and she flew up, and she helped me move all my stuff out, and she was right there, and I would lean on the girls that I work with, and they were very worried because then I got even more skinny and was in the 40s at this point, and
so people were noticing when you were in a workplace,
and they were asking.
Yeah.
Like, it was
So that was
so
a difference.
different.
Yeah.
Like, to anything I'd experienced before. People were genuinely asking, these are grown women, bear in mind, but they were actually saying, like, I'm really worried about you. Cabin managers on flights that, you know, we might have only flown together for a few times, they were saying, like, you're really skinny, you have a lot of inflammation in your arms. You know, I just remember some experiences like that, like massaging my arms, like, not in a creepy way, but that sounds creepy, but saying, like, you know, we can see that.
But for the first time, someone's asking a question and is listening to what you want to say.
Yeah.
Whereas before, people didn't necessarily either know how or they wanted to share their own story, but people could see it because if it was affecting your physical appearance. I'm just noting the difference and how people can help. Say you were worried about someone maybe that you worked with, or would you recommend people approaching them that way? Yeah.
I think everyone's different, but I loved it. I really felt like when I had some work colleagues come up and just say, I notice you're different to the last time I saw you. Tell me what's going on. And not ask, like, just kind of like forcefully tell me.
Yeah.
And to me, I like that. That's what I like.
You needed that push.
I
to
like
feel
it when
like someone
people
actually
say,
wants to know the answer.
Yep,
Yeah.
I feel heard. Whereas when people just kind of ask, it's like, I can say whatever I want right now. But just saying, tell me what's going on. I really like that directness from people, no bullshit. And that worked. So I would say, like, well, this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is what's going on right now. And yeah.
I think that's a really important point to make, because some people on the outside might not think that it's their place, but sometimes trying is better than not saying anything at all, which is what people had done in the past.
Yeah.
And it had contributed to you feeling like no one cared or that you should feel ashamed of it, and instead of it just being in the open.
It is really hard to know. I think it's still a bit of a taboo subject. I do think that now there's way more awareness to what there was 15 years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we still, as a species, struggle to know how to say it, because in general, we don't like to feel uncomfortable, and getting deep in conversation is uncomfortable. And I find that every day in my work now, when I work with families and we talk about uncomfortable things, and I say, I know this is uncomfortable and no one likes to talk about it, but to heal, we need to talk about it. I hadn't gone to therapy or anything like that in my 20s, but I do feel like that my lived experience helped me grow. If that makes sense. And I feel like my lived experience is the best knowledge I could ever have about working with people. Yeah. Ever. And I just figured
What makes you say that? Is it what qualities, what sets you apart from other people who may be working in the industry who haven't experienced the highs and lows of mental health themselves?
When I talk to people, I'm not trying to say, like, I've been, like, that's not what I mean. I don't ever share my own experiences, but I think I can empathize more than just like something I've read in a textbook. I don't think that you can just read that and figure it out.
It's
I think
scripted.
Yes. I think you really have to feel it, understand it, and being in that place, that difficult place in my life, when I talk to people, I'm like, I fully get it, and nothing that I can say right now is going to help, but I know that there's different tools I can give them that help me to get out of it. Yeah. And I think just going back to like medication, like I'm definitely a big advocate for medication. I'm not saying that my experience then means that I'm anti-meds. I'm on meds right now, but I'm definitely all for it. I think that it can be a band-aid at times, and sometimes we need to get to the root of the issue. Yeah. And when we talk to people, you can tell when people are genuine and when people aren't. When people are really listening and trying to understand. And I genuinely wholeheartedly care.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I'm now 10 years without any mental health like barriers or anything. I haven't until now, but there's circumstances that have come up. So I had spinal surgery from T3 to L4 4 months ago because I had scoliosis, and that impacted me a lot, and body image issues, and chronic pain is a huge thing that impacts on your head. And then having the surgery and then being isolated and being restricted and having this temporary or permanent disability, however you want to look at it, really restricted me. So then that's amplified my depression because I'm not using the tools that I have learned for the last 10 years because I'm not able to, because I'm restricted and bound to a bed or pain or whatever.
Do you want to talk about the tools that you do use?
Yeah. So when a huge thing that I used when I was really in the thick of my mental health many years ago was journaling, which I was like, this is so stupid. Like, why would I want to write it down? But I've still got all my journals now. Helped so much. Talking to people. Honestly, like the biggest thing that I feel that helped me was writing exactly what I'm feeling, even if it's just like, I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Like that's that. And then over night time, I would write down and say, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. And it would literally be like a step-by-step instructions of what I'm going to do the next day to get me up out of bed. And then also I would write then at the end of the day exactly what I did that day that made me happy. So it might be like, I got up, I made the bed.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that has helped me, which Emily knows I'm very neurotic about, is like my bed is I'm very, very, very anal about it. But that is because it's like it's my structure. If I don't have my bed clean, made, perfect,
every crumb flicked
crumb off it, I will think about it. And I think about it all day. And it's ridiculous. But I'm very, very like...
It's a safe space.
It's my safe space. I'm like, dope.
I know. And now we're adults. We can afford a house with 2 bedrooms. So no longer do I have to wash and shower and decrumb myself before going into bed. And I'm not grubby, but I do eat toast in bed sometimes.
It's you.
It's not always me. But sometimes it is me. Yes.
Yes. But
sorry.
Those tools, I think, is what helped me. I wish I could say like there was some grand thing, but I do think that it's just like these tiny things every single day and not putting so much pressure on yourself. There's so much pressure when you have depression to do so much and punish yourself, and then you go spiral and think, why didn't I do this? Why did I do that? Whereas I'm so happy that I got up today. I got up.
And that is in your journal. That's something that you can read.
Yeah.
When maybe the day that you couldn't get up.
Yeah.
You go, well, yesterday I did. And then you let yourself. And then you can do it again. And so when you talk about tools and having the decision to go and use medication again was not something that you thought that you would have to need again.
Oh, no.
Was that a hard decision 15 years later?
Definitely.
10,
because
15, yeah.
I have a lot of pride in saying, well, I'm a survivor and I had 2 suicide attempts. And I've been well for so many years. Exercising, walking my dog, like doing those sorts of things are the biggest things now that are my tools. Like I don't journal anymore really at all, but walking is a huge thing for me and my dog. So then when I had the surgery and had to stay inside, and I love socializing, I'm very social, and it was just kind of watching TV all day, every day. for 4 months, which isn't healthy for me because that's then how I spiral and then end up in a state of depression. So,
Yeah.
and then also, I guess, being isolated as well.
Because you're now living in Gladstone.
Yeah. So I'm now living in a different town with different people, haven't made a huge network of friends.
But it was for a positive reason. You weren't running from Cairns to start a new life.
No.
It's a very, very positive reason.
Yes. My partner, 4.5 years.
Fiance.
Fiance. Yes, I should say fiance.
Yeah.
We moved here together and he's a great support for me. The best person in the world to me, apart from you.
Brandon is 100% here every day doing the things, except when he's working FIFO.
Yes, he's a FIFO worker, but we make it work and he's always there for me. And we made the decision together to move here and try and get ahead in life, I guess.
But that shift in environment and not having your friendships on the doorstep is limiting. Yeah.
It's very difficult, and trying to explain what's going on to people that you don't really know is another struggle then to go through, because I'm saying, well, it's not just that I've had a major surgery and this is restricting for me. It's also that I have depression and a history of it, and it does creep up from time to time. Before, it's always been managed, and if I'm not saying that for the last 10, 15 years that I've never had a bad thought. They've definitely come up because I don't believe that they ever go away. I believe that I just learn to manage it, and when they have popped up, I'm it's so easy to squish it because I know what I'm doing and I'm good. It's gone.
Yeah.
But when you
external circumstances.
Yes, when you put all these things on top of each other, it's not easy to then say to other people, well, actually, I'm having now chronic anxiety and I feel like tightness in my chest, and I actually never had anxiety before. I just had depression. I didn't ever feel anxiety. So now,
oh, hello, new thing.
Yes, now it's a new thing. Yeah, it's so fascinating.
Is there anything that you would like people to know who maybe have not experienced this themselves or have people in their lives that are going through this that you would want them to know?
Yeah, I think that it's easy to say, like, the logo of "Are you okay?" But that's so easy to say yes.
Yes.
I think more so like
yes.
Yes. We say, can you tell me what's going on?
And so a little bit more specific.
Yes.
And added pressure. So not just a yes/no question.
Yeah.
It's tell me what's going on.
Yes.
So they have to elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
Which then allows for follow-up questions.
And it's not meaning that it's like, tell me what's going on. It's like,
babe, are you okay?
Yeah,
like in that
it's like,
like,
hey, I've noticed this. I think we need to give ourselves a little bit more grace as well. I think that it's okay. Like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to have these thoughts, and it's okay if someone's opening up to you and sharing something with you, that might be their first time ever doing that. So let's try not and then start talking about ourselves. Let's try and empathize and hear what they have to say. Definitely, it's a wonderful thing being able to converse and relate. That is wonderful. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I just think give a little bit more space.
Yeah.
Let people share.
Yeah. And for the people who may be going through something right now, would you have anything that you would like them to know?
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I know that sounds really surface, and you probably think like, no, it's fucking not.
Who the fuck are you to say?
I know. I get it. And you definitely think that at that time. You just think, shut up. Like, you are not equipped to understand. I definitely remember thinking, like, you don't get it. You're never going to get it. But, like, you have to give people the opportunity to try and understand it and try and get it. And you have to give yourself a little bit of time, and heal and know, like, this time of your life, there's so many more experiences that are going to come. And that doesn't mean, who's to say that that is all going to be negative? Just because you've had this little experience that is shit. And yeah, there is a lot of things out there that can be really, really hard. But that's not going to follow through always. There's always, 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 I think, opportunity to grow and opportunity for us to keep going.
Yeah.
And survivor sounds so silly, but I think that you do survive and then you thrive.
Oh, that's nice. Oh.
Because I've thrived,
Do you hear
baby.
that?
I do.
Yes, I know.
do. I think that you can thrive. I think that.
Yes.
And then it becomes a distant dream, honestly. And mine became a distant dream, and it's great. Like, I not in a like, let's just squish
and
it,
it's not perfect. There's no happily ever after. The dream is great, then the bubble pops, and all of a sudden it's back. But then also it goes again. I don't know if that helps people at all.
I hope so.
I think so.
What did I just talk about for
Don't know.
1.5 hours? I hope it made sense and wasn't too depressing.
It was so depressing.